Hi, my name is Jerry Wise, and this video is entitled, You're Not in Love, You're Addicted to Love. I've talked with many spouses who have had affairs, probably hundreds, and they've said that they think they're in love. And I've talked to many individuals who have been in a dating situation, and they also say, well, I think I'm in love. And they've had a string of either bad relationships or they're in an affair. And the title of this video is what I usually will suggest in the way of advice. And I tell them, well, I know you think you're in love, but no, I don't think that's it. I think you're addicted to love. And there's a difference. Love, healthy love, and addiction to love are not the same thing. Now, in our culture and in our society, they are basically seen as equivalent. And all of the pictures that are painted in songs, books, music, TV shows, movies, all paint the notion that addiction to love is what real love is. And then people continue to be hurt and devastated when that love doesn't turn out to be healthy, long-lasting, stable, caring, passionate. It kind of fizzles out after a period of time. Because love addiction does that. It's a big flash and then fizzles out. Much like every other addiction. Whether it be alcohol, cocaine, whatever we're addicted to, there's a big flash and then it fizzles out. Now, for love, that can be a big flash that can last a little while, because we can keep the honeymoon phase going for a while, but eventually we have to get back to the way things really are and then try to build a real and healthy relationship. And in terms of love addiction, which is really what this video is about, an affair is a classic example of love addiction, and often sex addiction. They are somewhat different, but are certainly cousins or siblings in terms of the addiction realm. The love addict experiences love on an addicted level. It feels compulsive, or it is compulsive, and it also involves lots of obsession. Compulsivity is behavior, something that we're doing that we just can't stop ourselves. And obsession has to do with our thoughts and our thinking process. And obsession is that we just can't control it. We just keep thinking about it. And that's how addictions work. The love addict mistakes emotional enmeshment and love and believes enmeshment is the goal of relationships. The love-addicted relationship involves fear of abandonment, unhappiness with self, and having relationships or that love attraction being the distraction for shame, guilt, low self-image, and the feelings of unlovability. Often a love addiction includes high levels of reactivity, pendulum swinging type of relationship cycles. In other words, we move from one side to another, from enmeshed to detached or to separate, back to enmeshed, to cut off, to enmeshed, and we go back and forth. Love addiction involves unrealistic expectations for how your partner should fulfill your needs or make you feel happy or feel loved. Love addiction involves too much carryover from our family of origin issues in the relationship. For example, my father was never there for me, so that is now my spouse's job, to be there for me like my dad never was. And those carryovers and those links create real difficulties in relationships. Love addiction has its origins in family of origin addiction. meaning not enough self-differentiation or knowing who we are, being who we are, and not enough self-differentiation from our family of origin. And on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the most self-differentiated, we may be at about a 2. And that's how we get involved and how love addiction is fueled by our 2-ness on that level, on that scale of self-differentiation. Those who experience love addiction are often addicted, and I put that in quotes, but addicted to their family of origin by either too much distance or too much closeness with their family of origin. Also, love addiction can occur within marriages and can occur within committed relationships. Many people feel, well, I'm married, I'm not having an affair, so I can't be a love addict. No, that's not necessarily true. You can be a love addict and be in a committed relationship. So, what are some of the symptoms, again, of love addiction? Well, I think one of the classic ones are those who love addicts in which we are preoccupied with loving and being loved. That's kind of a preoccupation that always kind of fills or affects our whole life. We feel terrified of being abandoned. Even the slightest rejection makes us feel like we're being abandoned and makes us feel horrible. More than once, we have neglected family or friends because of our relationship or relationships. We have no impulse control when it comes to love. We feel an overwhelming need to check up on someone or check up with the person that we're in love with. More than once, we've spied on someone that we love. And again, that is a preoccupation and an unhealthy sense of love addiction in which we will do behaviors that are not very mature. They often don't build our self-esteem and create more difficulties in the relationship. Love addicts also have stayed in bad relationships or repeatedly returned to an ex-partner because we just couldn't stand to be alone. We also expect our lover, our spouse, our partner to make me feel loved and to make me feel lovable. We often fall in love too easily and too quickly. Once we've bonded with someone, we can't seem to let go. When we are attracted to someone, we will ignore all the warning signs that this person is not good for us. Those go right out the window if we're love addicted. We take on more than our share of responsibility for the survival of the relationship. Love and relationships are often the only things that interest us if we're love addicts. We are overwhelmed with loneliness when we are not in love or not in a relationship. And more than once, we've gotten involved with the wrong person to avoid being lonely. We feel inadequate if we're not in a relationship. We're not lovable if we're not loving someone. We try very hard to be who our partner wants us to be, and we'll do anything to please him or her, even abandon ourselves, sacrifice our own needs or wants, and even our values to keep that relationship going. So, well, what's the bad news? Love addiction keeps us from having healthy, stable, satisfying, loving, committed, and nurturing relationships. Unless we address this brokenness, our chances for happiness are very low. Well, what's the good news? Life as a 2 on the self-differentiation scale is hard, unhappy, overly reactive, hurtful, fearful, and feels like living on the edge of pain or abandonment. However, the good news is we can heal, we can grow, we can learn to be 6s and 7s and 8s on the scale of self-differentiation. And how do we do that? By stop doing what we've always done, that's number one. By stop seeking after what won't give you yourself back or won't give you a sense of self. In other words, the object of our addiction or love. Because if someone makes me whole, then without them I would not be whole. And that's always very dangerous, because human beings are human and imperfect, and they can't keep us whole all the time. And that's where we get into trouble. We need to get into therapy and a recovery process so that we can get the support we need to learn more about ourselves and new ways of living and loving. Because when we choose to give up our drug of choice, the object of our love addiction, many feelings and emotional processes will arise like dragons. And they'll arise within us. And we won't like that at all. But these are the demons, these are the dragons, these are the issues that we have been avoiding all of our lives. The bad news is we have them. The good news is we can heal and recover from them. I suggest using a family systems approach to healing and gaining a greater sense of self in dealing with our family of origin issues and how we've come to learn to do life, to do relationships, and to do ourselves. We all come with that knowing. We need to stop investing in relationships and things that try to make us happy and start investing in a healthier you. I had a woman many years ago say she had a hard time affording therapy. She had bought her abusive boyfriend a car so that he would love her, stay with her, and care about her, but she couldn't afford what she needed to have the therapy to love and care for herself. But yet she would make all the sacrifices in the world for that object of her love and her love addiction. I also just suggest reading a book. There's a very good book out there that's available. It's called The Love Addict or Love Addict, Sex, Romance, and Other Dangerous Drugs by Ethlie Ann Vare, V-A-R-E. And you can buy it on Amazon. I would suggest it. It's a great book. If you're interested, if some of this applies to you and you feel you're in pain, having difficulties, call me for more help at 317-919-6264. I know it can be hard to find a good counselor in your area. I offer Skype and FaceTime counseling for anyone who has a computer. I want to thank you for listening today, and I hope you have a good day.